Hello, welcome back to Raising Heroes Mama. My name is Heather and I'm going to do the ultimate, the end, the final bookcase home library tour, whatever you want to call it. And these are my mama books. I am so glad to be done. Okay, I'm not gonna, full discretion, I have that stack, but I've unpacked our entire house finally after packing it up this summer. So once I clear off the bed, I'll be good, except for, things that need to be hung on walls and stuff. But we're not going to count that. But I digress. Today, I'm going to share you my mama books. What classifies a mama book? Books that my kids are not going to read, parenting, motherhood, homemaking, that kind of stuff. Some of them are content related. I don't read a lot of things that is not a content that I would approve of my kids reading. There are some, but then some of it is just, they're just not old enough. It's not bad content. I just wouldn't let them. So here's what's going on. I'm going to set this down so I don't spill everywhere. I'm going to flip this around and show you my shelves. All right, what we have going on here is just a cheap shelf from Walmart that I think I got like a decade ago. So don't ask, that's where I think I got it. Not sure. Up on the top shelf there, I have all the motherhood kind of books over here. And they're really focused on Christian motherhood in general. I don't think I have anything secular. No, I don't, because frankly, I'm Christian and I'm a mama, so I have Christian motherhood. This is something you put a tea light in. I need to put it on a shelf that is not on the wall yet. Over here, I have kind of homemaking and health related things. So I'm a homemaker, so I enjoy homemaking books. Some of these I've read, some of these I haven't. Let's just be honest, this is about 50-50 read, 50-50 not read. If I was going to pick out and highlight a couple of my favorites, my favorite motherhood book is actually not on this shelf. It's over on my bed, but it's called Treasuring Christ When Your Hands Are Full, and that is just phenomenal. I also really enjoyed, I did enjoy this one, but Cindy Rollins, Beyond Mere Motherhood, phenomenal, just phenomenal. It's not like a tips or tricks, but it's just like, I don't know, relatable, so to speak. If I was going to say a great homemaking book, this one, Habits for a Sacred Home by Jennifer Pepito, is phenomenal. Also, Holy Huga by Jamie Erickson, also phenomenal. Really interesting perspective is Desperate Housewives, Passionate for God. Passionate Housewives, Desperate for God, is that what it is? Yeah, Passionate Housewives, Desperate for God, by Chancey McDonald. I really love that. A lot of health books up there. This one is very interesting. Then on this shelf, I have kind of marriage books. Again, they're from a Christian perspective. I have one that is backwards because it does talk about being intimate with your husband. Don't want little eyes to fall upon that. And then I have kind of women's ministry marriage book. Best one I've read? I don't know. Is there a best one? The Bible. When it gets to women's ministry, I love Gloria Furman's Word from Ministry, and I also really loved Jen Wilkins' Women of the Word. Then I have just kind of womanhood, Christian living. Out of here, I really love Lies Women Believe. That was phenomenal. I don't know. There's some others in here probably that I've read half again. And then I have some here. Oh, there's Treasuring Christ. There's my favorite motherhood book right there. I love it. Put it up here. These are books that I'm hoping to read here soon. And then we go down to the chaos shelf. I have history on one side and science on the other, and giant education books on the other side. So I have several biographies and history books here. I've read most of these, not all of them. And then I talked about Unbroken, one of my favorites, Most Dangerous by Shanken's favorite. Love these. This one by Richard Wurmbrand, phenomenal. And by his wife, the pastor's wife, Sabina Wurmbrand, also phenomenal. Science ones I'm working on. This one, it might be going. I didn't love it. I like Disappearing Spoon better, and similar kind of premise. And then I have just kind of like, I don't know where to put these ones. Like, they're not Christian, but they're good. And then we get down to fiction, and I have Agatha Christie over here on this side. I have kind of some classics and short stories here. Count on Me Christo if I can ever get to it. These right here are ones I'm wanting to read. These are my Christmas books, which actually need to go in the other room. I do have a shelf for those. And then I have historical fiction, which, as you can see, is a lot of World War II. I have only read on this, I've read this book and this book in this shelf, and they were both phenomenal. And at Ruta Sepetys, I've read lots of her books, but I don't own them. They're wonderful. I have read Night by Elie Wiesel. And then down here I have my fantasy and my science fiction. Science fiction dystopians over here. It's all wonderful. I don't know if I could pick a favorite on there. If you haven't read the Recorder series in the Children Consortium, that is phenomenal. Good, clean Christian science fiction, which I didn't know was a genre until this year. And then over here I have kind of my fantasy section. So I've got Narnia down there. My husband doesn't want the kids reading Narnia, so it's Narnia business. It's hiding down there. And then I have some more C.S. Lewis, and might get to The Hideous Strength, we'll see. And then my first Sandersons that I am loving, Ember in the Ashes. I wouldn't let my kids read it, but I did think it was phenomenal. And then I have some other great fantasies here. Heard of Red Blood of Blue was really good, but it was a little intense. And same with The Heir and the Spare, both really good. But I don't think I would let my kids read it. The Dreamkeeper Saga, my oldest told me to read it, so that's why it's in here. And then I have The Secrets of Ormdale. My kids are allowed to read that, but it's mine, so I'm keeping it in here for now. I might move it out there because it is really an adult book, but it is not, but it's clean. And so I have all of that. And then we might just call this the favorite shelf or something. I don't know. This is in my closet, and I have all of my Charlotte Mason there. And as you can see, behind it is my Jane Austen collection. And then this is kind of my physical TBR priority shelf. And behind here, I have all of my education books, a lot of Charlotte Mason focus, but just education in general. And then, whoops, there are some more short stories back there. So yeah, that's what's going on. So as you can see, I have a lot of books. I'll give you the tally. I'm really close to having it all totaled up on my little catalog. And we'll see what the total is for read and unread, because I'm thinking it's going to be a little depressing. But hopefully this is like my TBR hopeful list here. And I put them in the front so that I see them and will hopefully focus on them. Because I have like 5 or 6 books that I'm currently in the middle of. And I keep those out and they move around the house. And then I have these that, like, I really want to read these and I need them to kind of be in my face or I forget about them. And so putting them right there, and hopefully that will suffice. But that's my Mama Bookshelf tour. If you have any questions, have a suggestion, maybe have a comment about one of the books I pointed out I haven't read yet, let me know. If you made it to the end of this video, drop me a book emoji, and thank you so much for watching. Have a blessed day.